That's exactly right. StrifeCro doing a very nice, or excuse me, Drewbie doing a very nice bunker rush there, and StrifeCro unfortunately crumbling underneath it. A great trap there by Drewbie. Like I was saying during that commercial, some people did not get to hear it, but Drewbie intentionally trapping those. Very right you were about that. I didn't see all the Marines in the SCV line and just completely demolished all of those Zerglings. So StrifeCro now is spawning over here. We are in game number 2 in the, I guess that's the eastern corner if I know my directions, as the blue Zerg, and Drewbie is our red Terran in the north corner. And certainly interesting first game. Drewbie just completely demolishing StrifeCro's army, taking out that natural twice in a row. Great job by him.
You know, and I certainly agree. I'm not too eager to count out StrifeCro, though. Right in the beginning of that game, he mentioned how his distaste for Xel'Naga Cavern, so hopefully there was some map differences there that can be turned around by some creative play from StrifeCro. He's going to be a little bit disappointed here, though, as he sees that command center, probably hoping for those cross-map spawning positions. It's sort of a Zerg haven, if you will, beautiful macro conditions. These positions not so bad, as this is the MLG version. The close ground is not an option, but I think by choosing Metalopolis here, StrifeCro was really hoping for that cross map. We'll see what opener he goes for. The one good thing about these spawning positions is StrifeCro gets unlimited free scouting to start this game off. He can see exactly what Drewbie's going to do and really get a clear timing or a clear picture of the gas timing. And if he's going to try some 2 racks pressure or just a 1 racks fast expand or maybe even some kind of an early Reaper opener, it does give StrifeCro a little bit of an edge. StrifeCro is going to go ahead and take this early expand once again, so he's going to try this same opener that didn't work so well for him in the last game. We'll see if he goes gas or pool first. I'm going to go ahead and guess gas, but we'll see just momentarily. And I'm completely wrong there. He's going to go ahead and drop that pull down. So we're not going to see super quick speedlings, but hopefully this fast expand from StrifeCro pays off for him in the long run.
Yeah, interestingly, Drewbie not choosing to 2 racks this time. StrifeCro, like you said, does know that there's no gas down, and he's got to be a little worried about 2 racks. The only way Drewbie, though, could really throw down a second racks right now is if he had proxied it somewhere. So StrifeCro probably going to feel pretty safe that this is a 1 racks, no gas, fast expand. As you see, he's pulling back that Overlord, and great timing as that first Marine pops out. You can tell that he doesn't want that Overlord to die, just runs it quickly away, and he's going to have more than enough to defend this. Really, Drewbie's not going to be able to do too much damage with this this early pressure. As you see, he's throwing down his command center at the natural, not something that you see a lot of Terrans do. Usually like to see that thrown up into the base and floated over, but Drewbie feels confident, wants to throw it down at the natural, and will probably just quickly back out as soon as he sees any kind of Zergling coming his way.
Certainly right, and StrifeCro is going to go ahead and pull 4 drones, a slight overreaction there for only 1 Marine. He is going to sacrifice a little bit of mining time, but nothing too critical at this stage in the game. Drewbie is going to go ahead and calmly back up, considering that a small victory there is, you know, he baited in that overreaction from StrifeCro. A nice little play by Drewbie right there, just to poke up, make sure he knows what his opponent is doing, sees that expansion, and should feel fairly confident about it. We do see Drewbie taking out his natural supply depot there, so it doesn't get in his way as he expands into this natural. That command center just about to pop up. A few lings on the way. StrifeCro getting that scouting intel that he needs. He does see the bunker as well as the expansion, so he should feel pretty comfortable with his fast expand, and should feel pretty comfortable to tech up somewhat aggressively here. We do see StrifeCro just now getting that first gas up, so a pretty late gas for him. He has been droning pretty heavily so far. We see it's pretty even with 5 more drones about to pop up. So this is kind of the opener that Zerg players love. They don't have to overproduce those lings. They don't have to worry about a lot of pressure, and they can just drone, 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 and really get that economy booming. You're going to see Drewbie start teching up as well, though. The reactor coming down on the barracks and the factory coming down. Or 2 factories, excuse me. So, Janitor, I'm going to guess we're going to see some Blue Flame Hellions here once again as we're seeing that double factory.
Yeah, that's right. That's basically a safe bet. Anytime you see a Terran nowadays, especially anyone that watched MLG, just love those blue flames. So StrifeCro might know this. We'll see how he reacts. He hasn't actually been able to scout too much. Would love to send a couple of those Zerglings in and get some decent scouting intel. Instead, he's just going to get hit by this bunker. Going to be very, very hard for him to run around. As you see, Drewbie does a nice job lifting up those supply depots. Doesn't want his opponent to know too much about what he's doing, but that tech lab is now finished on the factory, and Blue Flame immediately starts, and those 2 Hellions have started on the reactor factory, so StrifeCro will be in a bit of a pinch as to how he's going to be able to know that blue flames are coming unless he just assumes it. And, you know, you have to be scared of Banshees at this point, too, because all he's seen is Marines. But if you take a look back at the base of StrifeCro, he's doing a nice job with his SimCity, throwing down a macro hatch at his natural. Walling off is not going to allow those Blue Flame Hellions to have an easy path into the main. They're going to have to walk all the way around. Does have 3 Queens out right now, and is going to use those for some heavy defense as the Zerglings try to get around, a surround on this Hellion. But as you pointed out, the late gas means no early speedling. Instead, just the Queens come out here to defend, and Drewbie's going to have to back up for just a little while. There's that SimCity into play. You see, Drewbie would have been able to get into that main, but now just forced to come around, and it looks like he's going to get a few shots off on some of these workers. He's going all the way around, and instead might just value that scouting intel. But a great surround by StrifeCro prevents any of that from happening. At the same time, though, Drewbie does have 5 more Hellions on the way, and we'll have to keep our eye on those.
Yeah, certainly we are going to see this Overlord from StrifeCro move on over. He's going to sacrifice that Overlord for that scouting intel. All of these Hellions on the way. I do like the SimCity from StrifeCro, but I'm not so sure about the macro hatch this early on. We do see the Lair Tech on the way as well as a Baneling Nest. Hopefully he can survive this Blue Flame Hellion wave. A lot of Lings getting fried up instantly by those Blue Flames. Minimal damage coming out to those Hellions, and all of the Lings are roasted just about immediately. There's the scan coming down to slow down some of this creep spread. Drewbie still has not scouted the new base of StrifeCro, but it doesn't matter. He is doing so much damage here. That first Queen getting somewhat low, but the Queen's doing a great job protecting their Harvesters and not allowing these Blue Flames to do a crippling amount of damage. Drewbie is going to go down to this hatchery, probably harass it a little bit. It will take quite some time for these Blue Flames to take it down, so it's really not a huge threat right now. Hopefully StrifeCro can get some more units out and deal with these Hellions. Here come the Zerglings, and oh, so many of them get fried right away. Those Hellions just do so much damage, and there is very little StrifeCro can do about it. He needs to get some Roaches or Mutas on the board, particularly some Roaches this early on would be very helpful in dealing with these Hellions.
So it looks like StrifeCro is just going to opt for Queens. He's got 3 more on the way. A lot of Zerglings going to come in here and try and surround. 1 Queen will continue to do some damage if those Hellions get good shots off. No, they do not. So the Zerglings get a decent surround, but a lot of harassment there done by Drewbie. Great job, who has caught up in Harvesters, 50 SCVs to 53 Harvesters, but StrifeCro now has 6 Queens out. That is a ton of Queens. He's going to be able to goop up that map pretty quickly and start injecting some of those larvae. He's really gone for a super macro game. As you see, the Spire is down. A scan coming down there from Drewbie. Going to scout that Spire immediately, and we'll see if he techs into Thor's right away. You see a couple missile turrets already on their way. Interesting defense here by StrifeCro, just making Queens. That is something that I've never seen, but, well, I mean, I've seen it before, but not something that I've seen as a reaction to this, just mass queening. But
Yep.
He does have Banelings on the board. He's got about 5 Banelings out right now. We'll see what kind of damage he can do with those.
Yeah, and you have to give credit to StrifeCro for how he defended that Hellion attack. He did not lose a single worker in that engage and just did a fantastic job minimizing his economic losses, only sacrificing those Zerglings, and actually did a pretty good job considering the amount of Hellions that were at the front of his base. We do see some tanks and Marines knocking on StrifeCro's door. The tanks do not have siege completed yet. As we see, it is just now beginning as Drewbie is moving in. He's going to try and do some harassment, though, with these unsieged tanks. Very high single-target DPS. 1 or 2 of these Queens may fall here. That Spine Caller now chipping away. If Drewbie can pick off this Evo Chamber, that would be absolutely huge. It looks like he's going to focus it down and cancel the upgrade. A great play by Drewbie right there. And there's the Stim taking out all of those Marines. The Queens getting obliterated by these tanks. There's the Transfuse coming back and forth. Nice control from StrifeCro, but his losses are pretty huge right here. As we see, that army value difference is absolutely huge. StrifeCro has so much in the bank, over 1,000 gas. He needs to start pumping out some Mutas. The limited anti-air from Drewbie right now is certainly his weak point, and getting a lot of Mutas on the field would be so advantageous. Right now, he is just so starved for Larva. As we see, 1 Muta queued up, and all of the drones being pulled off by StrifeCro to try and stay alive. He just needs more Larva. So many Queens have gone down now. He doesn't have the injects he needs. As we see, 4 more Queens are on the way, but he is now supply blocked, and that supply gap is growing. Janitor, it is looking very, very grim for our Zerg player.
That is right. Drewbie now sieged up. Siege Tank did finish. A bunch of Banelings are getting morphed in here. 13 Banelings on the way, but I'm not sure it's going to be able to clean this up. He needs a lot of Zerglings. As you see, the Marines in the third are starting to harass that pretty well. Needs a lot of Zerglings for surrounds on those tanks and to try and take those out, but Drewbie is doing so much damage. Sim is finished. He's going to be able to take out that natural, and there it goes down. The siege tanks blowing up those Broodlings. The third is now completely exposed for Drewbie to go harass whenever he wants. StrifeCro on 2 bases. He has tacked up to lair. 6 mutas are on their way out, but that's not going to be enough to stop this Marine force, and this is looking very, very rough. As you see, the reinforcements continuing their way in for Drewbie, who is satisfied with his damage and just looks like he wants to back out.
Yeah, and that's a great play from Drewbie. At this point, he could probably just move in and finish this off, but he is going to play it a little bit safe, and he's going to minimize his losses, moving that tank in to see exactly what StrifeCro has. He sees the mutas and sees the Banelings, so he knows exactly what he's up against, but I love this play from Drewbie right here. He's going to do a split attack, take these Stim Marines with medevacs into the main, and start chipping away at this tech structure, and then take these units down here and start attacking the third. A beautiful play from Drewbie as he takes game 2.